Hello everyone, this is a little bit of a different type of video. This is more of a commentary on events in the world as they seem to be unfolding around us. And today I want to talk about there was a new, I'm sure you've seen it by now, this new port, this new expansion for Doom from Bethesda. And it comes with a bunch of extra stuff that is causing a little bit of a ruckus. I would go as far as to say a little bit of a ruckus in the Doom community, and I would like to take a little bit to talk about the ruckus. But however, I am not going to sit here and give you like a 90,000 year long history lesson of why there's a ruckus here. So instead, I'm just going to link a couple of threads in the description and give you the top level preview. I don't know if you can hear Max the dog. He's woofing around somewhere. Thank you, Max. Anyway, so there's a new Doom expansion called Legacy of Rust. I haven't played it, and there's a new Doom port that they apparently replaced the Unity port that has been a thing for, I guess, 5 years now or so, and they came out with a new one. Now, that's all well and good, okay? Reminds me of something like No Rest for the Living when that came out, which, if those of you that don't know, which that was a release, an expansion release for the Xbox 360 port of Doom 2 way back. I think it was like 2009, 2010. Right, so this is not the first time, and I even go as far as to say I think that was before Bethesda bought its software. But anyway, anyway, they've done this before. But the big wrinkle here that's causing the ruckus is that this new expansion and port comes with a new compatibility level, a new feature set, a new, think of it how every time, Z-Doom or GZ-Doom updates or something, they add like a list of new features. Now a line can do those things and all that kind of stuff. And this has caused a stir in the community because this feature set was basically developed behind closed doors. A lot of people had to sign non-disclosure agreements. We don't know how much these people were paid, and we don't know like what extent the people who are developing this new compatibility specification, we don't know what extent they're going to be working with Bethesda. Is this a one-time contract? Are they going to be on the payroll indefinitely? We don't really know that information. And inside this new specification, which is called id24, there's some, things that I personally am not a fan of, such as reserving certain parts of the specification for, quote-unquote, ensuring the commercial viability of Doom and Doom 2. I don't like that kind of stuff. And essentially, this has created a scenario where a corporation decided to essentially do like a Metal Gear Solid type stealth mission in the Doom community, in the space of SourcePort developers, and they poached a couple of people and decided to secretly develop a new standard for what they're going to try to get modders and people to make levels with. Now, I just, I'm very biased. I'm a little bit of a weirdo, just to be honest with you. I'm biased. I don't like corporations. I don't like Doom 4. I don't like Doom 5. I don't like anything that this IP, this intellectual property, which I also don't believe in. I don't believe in intellectual property. And if my compromised position on intellectual property would be 5 years, maybe you have ownership of your intellectual property. But this idea that id Software, a group of 5, 6, 7, or 8 people, made a game that was open source, and then 20-something, 10, 15 years later, a company buys that game and is now trying to undo the open source nature of Doom. To me, I find that to be a very alarming scenario. I've been in a lot of ROM hacking spaces and modding spaces, and the Doom modding space is the best modding space of all time. I don't think that there is a better example of a better modding space other than Doom. It's got the history, it's got the people, it's got the longevity, and it's got the people, it's got the willpower to continually be improving the engine and adding new things without deviating from the core values of what makes the game so fun. And so the best part about that is that it is community driven. Now, of course, not every single person is a port developer, right? But for the most part, port developers outsource. Hey, what do you want to be? What features are you looking for in for a mapper? I'm a mapper and I'm not a developer, right? So I've been in on conversations where port developers have been like, hey, what things do you want as a mapper? I'm going to try to institute and that open dialogue is something that's I've been in the Doom community for most of my life, and so that's always been something I appreciate. It's communitarian. And again, that's not to say that the Doom community is perfect. People shit on each other all the time. There's lots of personal bickery, some grudges and stuff. But the point is, for the most part, this has been a corporate free zone. And now the corporation known as Bethesda, I don't even acknowledge that id Software is still an entity, because again, all the people that made Doom no longer work there. It's just a corporate zombie, essentially being, it's only doing things because Bethesda or ZeniMax casted some fucking skeleton summon magic or something. id Software doesn't exist anymore. Let's all get that. That needs to be understood here, right? But so the idea of a corporation that bought the rights to Doom coming in and trying to dictate new community standards, I personally don't like it. I wanted to make a video about it because not everyone follows Doom World. Not everyone follows the drums. And I'm sure that the expansion is good. I'm sure that the people that worked on the expansion, I'm sure that the people that worked on id24 are all working in good faith. But what I can absolutely assure you is that Bethesda is not working in good faith. And, that's the thing here that really needs to be understood, is I really do not see any scenario, any way, shape, form, whatever, I don't see it happening where Bethesda or ZeniMax is going to be operating on good faith and for the best interest of a community of people that have been basically making this free game. I spent $0 because my grandpa gave me Doom back when I was a kid, and I've been able to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of hours playing games for free. I don't play new games. I don't buy new games from Bethesda. I don't buy... The only IP I'm even remotely interested in from Bethesda is Fallout, and I haven't played Fallout 4 still. I haven't played... I don't care about any of these new games that they're coming out with. But there are a lot of people like me that, again, really like playing free mods, and they're trying to bring people like us into the ecosystem. They're trying to bring people like us onto their port, where it's oh, now you can have all your Doom saves on your Switch and on your PC. Isn't that worth, spending $20 on all platforms or whatever? I don't know if they have cross-platform saving. I'm just saying they're trying to get people that are typically non-paying consumers back into being paying consumers. And I personally believe everyone involved with the id24 specification, besides Bethesda, are acting in good faith. I believe that they're doing things because they want to see the game thrive, and they appreciate the opportunity from the copyright holder to do that stuff. But I do not think Bethesda or whatever zombification of id Software, I do not think that these people have any of our best interests in mind. And I would caution people to be wary of the slippery slope, without sounding too much like a fallacious conspiracy theorist. We've seen this a lot. I've seen this a lot. I mean, an example I want to give y'all, a community I followed a lot was the Spyro the Dragon ROM hacking community, the PlayStation trilogy Spyro 1, 2, and 3. There were a lot of people working on fan games and ROM hacks of the Spyro the Dragon games, making new levels, reverse engineering the entire engine and finding out how to make new assets, and that because it was a dead IP. But then a copyright exchange happened. Some company bought the copyright to Spyro the Dragon and released a remake. You may have heard of the remake. And what happened was, when the remake was announced, along with it, all the ROM hacking websites for Spyro cease and desist, all these cool fan games that people have been following for years and years and years. I followed a lot of these. Gone, cease and desist, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I am afraid of, because, there's a lot. Look at, the way Doom wads work when it comes to textures. Technically, if you've copied any Doom texture and then made an edit to it, you are modifying commercial copyrighted assets. If you took the Zombie Man sprite and added a baseball cap to his head and then put it in your WAD, well, 90% of that sprite is owned by Bethesda. So theoretically, they could come out here and do massive takedown requests and all that kind of stuff. They haven't yet, right? But they could theoretically. So my opinion is that we should, as a community, as of people who play and keep these old games alive. Again, Bethesda would not be doing any of this stuff if people like us were not playing these games over and over and over again for 20, 30 years, right? So again, I think what we should do as a community, not just as a Doom community, but as people who preserve old games, people that like old games, is that we, in all ways, shape, and form, should try to preserve our ownership, whatever we have. It is not legal ownership, but we do have ownership over the fandom. We have ownership over how these games were developed years and decades after the original developers and publishers abandoned them, right? And I think what we should do as a group, modders, game developers, indie game developers, that kind of stuff, is we should all just basically group together against corporate interference, right? So now I don't see any of that happening. I think this is, hopefully we can all resolve this and all the source port developers can agree on a standard and all that kind of stuff. But again, go read some of the stuff on Doomworld. If you heard of this port but haven't heard of the drams, go check it out. Again, it's a very heated conversation. There's a lot of stuff to consider. And again, it is cool that Bethesda is releasing new Doom material. That is interesting. But I would also liken it to John Romero came into the Doom space like 10, 15 years ago and released a shitload of unreleased Doom assets like art, music, graphics, concepts and stuff, and released it for free. He was doing like, week, or I think it was like monthly or bi-month, whatever. It was every once in a while. He would release these big batches of assets, unused assets, music, again, stuff like that. And then at one point he mysteriously stopped. And then now all of a sudden, this new expansion is coming out with more unused assets, except you have to pay for it. And again, that kind of stuff, I don't endorse it. I don't agree with it. So at some point I'll play the new expansion. I'm sure I still haven't even played Sigil 2, as I like to call Sigil 2, even though I bought the box for it, just because I like John Romero. What can I say? What can I say? I bought his game just to look at the box. I still haven't played it yet. But again, I'm just, I'm really wary of corporate interference. And again, the big thing for me personally that I love about the Doom community is it has been a self-existing, self-sustaining community that has existed in opposition to corporations and has existed in opposition to this microtransaction style of the way that modern gaming industry works. And I do not like and I'm very scared that Bethesda is going to try to, take over this community. Again, I haven't even done anything about the WAD uploading form that they have on their thing where people can upload any WAD. By the way, if you're listening to this, feel free to upload all my WADs. I'm not making a Bethesda account. I refuse to ever make any Bethesda accounts. It's just as a matter of principle. I'm not buying any of their new games. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. So feel free to upload my levels if you want. But anyway, again, that's my thoughts. I'm sure everyone involved other than Bethesda is operating with the community's best interest in mind. However, the elephant in the room here is copyright, intellectual property as concepts. Bad concepts. I think if you're in the modding space, if you're in the indie game space, I personally think we should have solidarity against the concept of intellectual property and copyright, at least in the current incarnation. Again, this idea that a bunch of people made an open source game 30 years ago and now a corporation is going to try to make new closed source iterations on top of it. I don't know. It's a little sketchy. Okay. It's a little sketchy. But again, I think I'm going in circles here. I guess this is the part of the video where I go, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Because I haven't been doing videos lately. I've been going through some stuff. But hopefully I'll come out with some new Doom videos for you. If you have any suggestions for series to jump back into, I got a couple of demo history videos I'm working on, and I've got a couple of speedrun commentary videos I'm working on. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to try to get those out again after my little vacationary break. My vocationary anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good day, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below or on the side. You ever watch a YouTube video from like 2009 and then they go, add to your favorites, rate 5 stars, and I'm like, what, how do I do that? It won't let me. I can't rate 5 stars. I have to download a browser extension just to do what the video told me to do. Anyway, leave a comment. on the side, wherever the fuck the comments are. I don't know. You know more than me. You're the one leaving the comment. Anyway, that's all I got.